start the process of finalizing legislation that will help our veterans. We owe it to the men and women who served our country to get this right. I'm grateful that this has not been a partisan issue. All of us are affected by the wait lists and negligence and deaths. Many of us here today have constituents who are directly impacted. There's a potential wrongful death case in my district right now in Indiana that's being investigated. We have to get this right and fix this in a timely manner. It's very clear the institutional failures within the Department of Veteran Affairs are deeply ingrained. Attempts at reform before were oftentimes met with stories from in here: resistance, deception, whistleblower retaliation. Now we're hearing that in addition to altering wait times, the Phoenix VA Medical Center has also been altering the records of veterans who died waiting for care. While bad actors within some of these medical centers put their own careers above the health of our nation's veterans, the department turned a blind eye and rewarded these bad actors at the heart of this disaster with financial incentives and bonuses. This insular and self-protection attitude is at the core of the problem and is one of the things that has to change. There will never be an incentive to change if people aren't held accountable for their actions. We need to get the care our veterans need, and fast. There's no question we must get veterans the care they deserve, whether the care comes from inside or outside the VA. The challenge before us today is to do so in a responsible fashion. I agree with what Senator Coburn was saying. The need for the legislation is great. However, simply providing a financial boost to an agency that has repeatedly demonstrated awful management practices is not going to solve this problem. There's no point to spending an additional $50 billion a year in non-VA care if we don't do this right. My commitment as we work on this legislation is to make sure bad actors can be fired, to make sure we do whatever we need to do to pay for this legislation so we can make responsible reforms. Now is our opportunity as legislators to take the first step towards meaningful reform. These problems are multi-layered, and getting to the bottom of them has been like peeling apart an onion piece by piece. However, I'm confident that the House and Senate reform proposals are positive steps in the right direction. I look forward to working with all of you in both chambers from both sides of the aisle as we hammer out a final version of this legislation that responsibly addresses timely access to care and hold the bad actors accountable. I thank you for holding this hearing on such an important issue facing our nation's veterans. I yield back my time.
Thank you very much. And as a former member of the House, I do note that members of the House speak